Alright, YouTube. I'm a jerk. I haven't posted anything. I'm way behind. I can't get materials. So part of not having the plan in place is that I didn't have the materials in place. But I wanted to do a quick update as I'm actually doing something today. So I got one wall up. I got all the walls up. So I got this wall up. There's a huge sliding glass door in that wall. I've got those walls up, sliding glass door there, 2 windows there, and then there's a man door over there. So I got that done. Not much to report. It's building walls. Like, search YouTube, how to build a wall. There's a billion of them. These probably aren't any different than any of the other ones, except they are the inside wall of the double wall construction. We're not going to talk about that right now. What I'm doing now, so this above me will be exposed beams, right? Exposed beams sit on top of these walls here, okay? That's pretty easy, simple. Set it on top, nail it in, bam. But over here, I have to connect it to the house. Now, that's an issue because in this plan, this is an opening, and so is that. With a post in the middle, both of them are going to be open to this room here. That creates a whole bunch of, well, how the heck are we going to support the wall? Now this is a gable end wall. There's no ridge beam, so there's really no weight on this wall at all. And especially because I've removed most of the wall, I actually took the windows back out just now to remove even more weight. We took everything off the inside wall. There's basically no weight on this wall at all, but it's got to support the beams. So I got to support 4 beams. So I was up here, I cut into this thing right here, right? So you can see that the top of the wall actually comes to this point here. So it's not the top one, it's the one down from it right here. That's where the beams will go. And the reason for that is because the height of the beam plus the flooring that I have on top of it needs to equal and match the subfloor that's there currently. Okay, so what you see here is a rim joist. This is a 1-inch, basically OSB rim joist. And they're made specifically when you use TJI joists, which are those engineered eye joists. You need a rim joist that is the same size as the joist, 9.5 inches. And dimensional lumber doesn't come in 9.5 inches. What's a 2x10? 9 3/4? Thought it was 9.5. Anyway, that's why they make these things. Maybe they didn't know about 2x10s. Anyway, that's why this is here. Now, no, what I was thinking up along, I was like, oh, well, I'll just put the beams into here. Well, I have 4 different ideas, only one of which I'm going with. I could explain all the ideas. I'm sure you have all have your own ideas about how I could support these beams on this floor, on this wall, and have open cavities down below. But let me just focus on the idea that I'm actually going with, because I'm out of time. This rim joist can act as a header. And so I could put joist hangers on it, put the beams on, bam, I got a header. That was one of my thoughts, and I was like, yeah, cool, that'll work. Except it's not quite good enough to just say, yeah, that'll work. Because, will it? So I did some research, and I found this exact rim joist, 1 inch thick, and I found the load table for it. And it says you can use it as a header for 4 feet. Well, I've got a 12-foot span, not a 4-foot span. And I don't want the rim joist header failing. I don't want the whole floor coming down. I don't want it sagging. I don't want it breaking. So I'm not going to build something that's going to break, because I actually look up the data, the numbers. So this won't work. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this 9.5 inch rim joist out, and I'm going to insert a 9.5 inch LVL, which is a special engineered header, which can support the load. I'm actually inserting 2 of them and nailing them together, because that's enough to support the load. I'll support it on that center post and on the outside of the house, and I'll have 2 12-foot openings based on those 2 LVL beams sandwiched together. So what I'm doing here is I'm removing this. This here is a 2x6 nailer, which allows the sheetrock to be nailed on the inside. You can see that it's kind of inset in the wall. So that's a nailer for the sheetrock. That kind of has to come out. So I'll have to see how cleanly that happens inside. So I'm taking this thing out. This one's pretty loose already. I just got to peel it out of there. And then I can insert the other LVLs in. And then I can get joist hangers, which are on the way. And then the beams, which I haven't heard yet on. I'm still waiting on the beams. I'm doing tongue and groove flooring. It's actually going to be a tongue and groove ceiling, not flooring, because I'm going to have stuff on top of it, which I'll get to later. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, the plan is done. And it is over the top crazy. Like crazy. But it's perfect. I'll show it to you eventually. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching. Okay. So, get the rim joist out. 1,000 nails. It was construction adhesives to the subfloor. And I was like, oh no, starting to dread it based on the comments I've received about construction adhesive. But what I found was a couple really solid smacks with the hammer, and the construction adhesive broke apart and let go. So, just as a tip, beat the heck out of it with a hammer a couple times, and it breaks the construction adhesive. Oh, that's in there good. Anyway, so now I'm gonna cut all those nails, and I gotta remove this 2x6, that 2x6 there, and then I can insert the new LVL. Cool. Okay, there it is. I got the rigid styrofoam out. So now I just got to get this 2x4 gone, these nails gone. I may actually see if my saw fits in here and just rip the thickness that I need. That way the sheetrock inside will stay intact. That would be swell. It'll also provide a stop where I can just hammer them in and they'll stop, and then yeah, feel good about that. So yeah, I don't know how much you need to see, but there it is. What's holding up that wall? Not much. So I'll do this side first, and then I'll do the other side. Okay. So I got that 2x6 out. It looks like I left most of the sheetrock intact, so that's good. So now, all I do is put them in, I guess. So under here, when I tear this wall out, I'll have to kind of leave this last stud and build up a post under this end. And then the center already has such a thing. So I may put a nail in where they need to stop, just so I can bang them in, and because if they go in too far, like, I'm gonna have to drill in a lag bolt in order to like pull them out, and that's a lot of work. So we'll see how this goes. When working alone, don't be afraid to put a little bit of time into building yourself something to make it easier. There's no way I could hold this beam up in space and push it into this hole alone, and I don't have anybody else here. So I have a couple angle brackets. I just screwed them to the wall, and now this beam is just sitting here, and now I can go and make sure it's in the right spot and beat the heck out of it with a sledgehammer. Oh man, that could not have gone easier. That was awesome. Just put it in one end, put a nail in so it wouldn't pop back out, and just drove it in. It took about 2 minutes. So there's one. Now I gotta go get the cut it. I think what I'm gonna do is overlap them a bit, like overlap these and these, just to give them some rigidity this way. So this one's got a support here, so I may cut this side here. So I'll keep this one short, probably 1.5 inches. I'm gonna construction adhesive the heck out of it, not that it's really needed, and then nail the heck out of it, and then I'll bang them in to the right. Like I didn't put this one all the way in, so I'll bang it in once I get them both kind of up there, so I can make sure it's flush to the outside. Oh man, does that make me happy! You have no idea. Kind of got to a point 2 days ago, I was like, how the heck am I gonna hold those beams up there? Now I can have a totally open space underneath, and the header doesn't stick down into the room. It's so awesome. Oh man, I'm psyched.